name Bill Bellis Sr. He was a member of the Rotary since 1981, 42 years. He passed away on October 20th. Lived a great life, and he was Paul and I was fellow plus 6 actually. He was not only president of this club, he was also district governor of 6710. Did some great work. So, just a moment of silence for Bill. Providing invocation today is Kelly Hutchinson, Executive Director of Development of Salvation Army of Louisville. The chair of the invocation committee.
Thank you all. Just before the invocation, I want to show this as our reminder that bell ringing season is coming. And we want to thank George Breakmeyer and Lois Seeger for heading up the volunteer efforts for our club. And we want to be competitive with the Kiwanis. Please make sure you sign up. We have ordered new aprons, we bought new bells, and it'll be fun. Thank you all. Please join me now for the invocation. Please bow your head. Let us pray silently together, each one of us, according to our individual beliefs. Let us offer thanks for the food and for all the many blessings that we enjoy. Help us to always be a source of hope for others. Remind us daily to use the time you've given us to add something of value to the day. Please show us that in today's world, a smile, a wave, a helping hand, such seemingly simple things can add much more value and impact. Thank you for our time together, and thank you for our speaker. Amen.
Thanks, Kelly. Now, leave the floor with us is Maria Smith, CEO of Harbor House of Louisville. Paul, let's start with this time.
Good afternoon. We're going to pledge first? Yes. Okay. Well, everybody join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and join me in the four-way test of all the things that we think, say, or do.
Is it fair? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. You want to just mention what happened yesterday? Briefly.
Sure, thank you. Yesterday, Harbor House began a new intergenerational life center model for our community. We were able to open and invite people in to take advantage of our services from young to old. So we have seniors now, our people with disabilities that we've traditionally had for 31 years, and children that were welcomed into the new space. It's a fabulous new space. If you haven't had an opportunity to come out and tour and see all the services that we provide, please come. But we opened the doors yesterday, and our people were so excited to get there and experience their new life in Harbor House. So, thank you.
Just one of many things the community is happening with the Rotarians. Time for introducing your guests. Please introduce yourself first, and then your guests with their name, title, and organization. That is where the guests are introduced. The guest, if your name is mentioned, just please stand up.
I'll go ahead and get it started off. My name is Belinda Taylor. I'm the Executive Director of the Rotary Club of Louisville. We have a couple of guests today. Diane Clark is with, she's the new Executive Director at First Hour Grief Response. Diane, we're honored you. Oh, there you are. Hi. Welcome, Diane. And Meredith Loeb, do I have that correct? Is the Chief Philanthropy Officer with Kentucky Science Center. Welcome, Meredith. And we have a Rotarian visiting who's going to come up here and introduce himself. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Harald Tuschreich from Germany, visiting Rotarian from the town of Fulda, which is an hour north of Frankfurt. And for me it's a great opportunity to visit with another Rotarian club, especially abroad. So what brings me to Louisville, it's my daughter. She will start studying at Belmont University next year. So we thought it would be a great thing to have a look. It's a pleasure to be here. So I bring you all the best wishes from my Rotarian friends back in Germany. We brought this pen, maybe you collect these. I'm very impressed because our club is for German. For Germany, it's like an average club with about 60 to 70 people. Like yours is impressive. So another experience. Thank you very much for being here.
Hard to follow that up. Hi, President Kevin. This is standardized. I've got two guests today. They are my fellow board members from the Parks Alliance of Louisville. And I've got Rebecca Brady, who is COO at Rotary. Please stand up. It's a requirement. And also I have Michael Bowman, who is candidate for state treasurer. This is
Hello Rotarians, I am Jess Mesmeyer from Melman, and my guest today is Dr. Susan Donovan, the president of Belmont University.
Hello Rotarians, I'm Fred Allen. My guest today is Dr. Gordon Tobin. Dr. Tobin is a member of the faculty of surgery at the University of Louisville School of Medicine, an expert in reconstruction surgery, dealing with, among others, gunshot victims. And in addition, he's a past president of the Kentucky Medical Association.
Hello everybody, this is Steve Eggers. Just wanted to brought two guests today. Ed Krabs and Carter Scott, who are Wendell Berry Associate Architects, and we are a firm who's actually currently working with the Envirome Institute. So we want to make sure we have a chance to come see them. So, thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Stephen George. I'm joined today by my colleague from Louisville Public Media, Ellen Deuce, who is our Vice President of Development.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. I'm delighted to introduce you to my guests today, Alice Ault and Kevin Wilson from Kentucky College of Art and Design.
Guests, please, after the meeting, go to the what is Rotary table over there. Craig Sherman will tell you a little bit about what Rotary involves if you want to get more involved yourself. I figured out one good way to get a lot of good guests to come to this event is have Christy Brown as your speaker. Time for a flag exchange, please. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Next meeting.
Also want to introduce Rotarians in the spotlight, as usual. We have a number of people in the spotlight. Larry Sloan is very involved with Rotary in every respect, frankly. He's Vice Chair of Parks Accessibility Advisory Council, and this week he gave a White Cane Award to a blind person by the name of Billy Wright. And that's an award that's given to a blind person who embodies the service of spirit to help other blind people in the community. So I want to thank Larry for that. And also Billy Wright was blind as a boy. When he went to the Kentucky School for the Blind, then he went to JCC, then he went to Spalding, and they went to do some great things to serve the community. So I want to congratulate him as well. Congratulations to Jordan Clemens and Sarah Hugenberg, who are in the 2022 Spring Ignite Louisville class, part of this Louisville. And I'd also like to now introduce Laurie Hudson Flannery, CEO of New Directions Housing Corp., the Vice Chair of the Rotary Fund Board, and a Paul Harris Fellow. The podium introduces new members.
Okay, thank you, President Kevin. So when I have come to the front of the room, Christy Brown, Todd Sedgwick, and Scott Collins. You all will stand right here, please. Christy first, then Todd, and then Scott. So Todd, you're in the middle there. Okay, so. All right. Fellow Rotarians, it is the duty of our Rotary Club to add new members from time to time so that we may not only increase our usefulness and influence as a club, but also to extend the spirit of Rotary throughout the community. Today it is my honor to formally welcome 3 new members, Christy Brown, Todd Sedgwick, and Scott Collins. Prospective members, if you will please continue standing here at the front of the room until I have introduced and inducted each of you, that would be great. You've been elected to membership in this club because we believe you to be a worthy representative of your calling, and that you possess qualities that exemplify in your public, business, social, and private life the true spirit of Rotary. You have been admitted not only to the Rotary Club of Louisville, but to a worldwide organization of over 46,000 clubs worldwide. And as our wonderful visiting guest from Germany noted, we are a big club, and in fact, I tell everyone that I meet, probably maybe a little ad nauseum, that we're actually the 14th largest club in the entire world. By virtue of your membership in this club, you will be welcomed into the fellowship of the Rotary Club of any place around the globe. And I think the most interesting one I visited was the one that's right across the street from Windsor Castle. So there you go. If you visit, make sure you go across the street. Introduce yourselves. Rotary membership adds value to those who engage, whether by attending meetings and events such as this, participating in our many service projects, or sharing their knowledge and talents as we carry out the principles of Rotary into the community. All right, Christy Brown. Christy is a philanthropist and leader who is active in the cultural, spiritual, educational, and political life of Louisville and Kentucky. She is a co-founder of the Christina Lee Brown Envirome Institute at the University of Louisville, which promotes the idea that the world would be a better place if people would promote better health in all its forms, including physical, emotional, educational, and intellectual. She is on the boards of the National Trust for Historic Preservation and the Sustainable Food Trust, and she also co-founded Louisville's fabulous and very popular Festival of Faiths. So Christy, thank you very much. I'm now formally inducting you into the Louisville Rotary Club and hereby present you with your Rotary pin. Welcome. Todd Sedgwick. Todd is an information entrepreneur and served as U.S. Ambassador to Slovakia. He currently is chair of the Foreign Policy for America and is on the boards of the Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership, the International Foundation for Electoral Systems, and the Center for the Study of the Presidency and Congress. You're doing it, thank you. So Todd, we hereby induct you into the Louisville Rotary Club, and welcome, and thank you very much for your interest. Scott Collins. Scott has passionately advocated for a socially conscious and impact-driven business movement in Kentucky for the last several years. He dreams of Kentucky having the strongest, most effective group of for-profit social and environmental enterprises in the country. He played a pivotal role in the passage of the Public Benefit Corporation, or PBC, because we gotta have an acronym, PBC legislation in Kentucky. As president and owner of Facilities Management Services, he led FMS to become the first public benefit corporation in Kentucky and the first janitorial services company in the world to become a certified B Corporation. Scott is also the founder of Canopy, a nonprofit organization aiming to make Kentucky first in good business. Its goal is to create a strong network of socially conscious and impact-driven businesses that work to make lives better in Kentucky. All right. Scott, by this pen, I hereby give up your name into the Rotary of Louisville. So, welcome. Congratulations and welcome all three of our new members. And I will ask if Christy and Scott will now return to your seats because I am inviting Todd Sedgwick, newly inducted Rotarian and scholar in residence at the Envirome Institute, to the podium to introduce today's speaker, newly inducted Christy Brown.
I'm going to cut off and talk for a second here. I just want to mention, we've got 3 outstanding people today as new Rotarians. As you all know, the Rotary model this year is create hope in the world, okay? These 3 people, that's what they live by. You hear all the accomplishments they got, but everybody that knows what wonderful people they are, how they're motivated, whether they want to care for others, they want to make the world a better place, and that's what they do every day. I think Christy is probably, if you had to pick one individual in this community that's most influential to causing good things to happen, I think it's Christy. Sometimes she gets involved in something when she stays very, very, very involved with it, such as the Envirome Institute, Festival of Faith, etc. Other times she just gets the right people in the room. She knows everybody. She gets the right people in the room. Here's the problem we have to identify at the press here. What do we do? They figure it out, they get the resources and talents and dedication to make it happen. So it's amazing what even Prince Charles at the time said, you can't say no to Christy Brown. And then, Todd, he moved to Louisville and he's busy doing a lot of things involved with some national organizations as well as locally. But he volunteered to help out the Ukraine task force last year. And we actually have shipped it today. They've shipped over, because of him, they've shipped over 700,000 units from SOS International. And he's here somewhere. Anyway, that's been phenomenal, and what he did was, and also equipment from WaterStep, and then meals from Love the Hungry. All that is very needed in Ukraine. But the problem is, how do you get it over there? You can't just, in the middle of the war, just drop things off at the hospital. So he was the U.S. ambassador to Republic of Slovakia in 2010 and 2015. He had all these connections with NGOs and others, and he arranged to get things delivered from different parts of Eastern Europe into then Ukraine, the specific location, he had the right relationship. So I want to thank Todd for that. And also Scott, last but not least. By the way, Ben Smock is here, he's a regular Rotarian, he's been a great addition to the club. But Scott started this organization, he's been a very successful business owner at Facility Management. And he just I want to do something different. And he started this company called Canopy. It's all about making the world a better place, but being a company is thinking not just about your profits, but how do we make the environment and the community and all kinds of things better for people. So his whole motivation, and Ben's been really driving that as well, is to make the world better by looking at your own business as something to improve things in addition to making profit. By the way, I think Scott does as well, that you actually make more money if you do things the right way than you make less money. So it's an important win.
President Kevin, I'm excited to announce, it's just confirmed today, Scott Collins will be the keynote speaker at the Rotary District 6710 conference in May.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a great honor for me to join you all, join the Rotarians. I'm main observation was how community-minded Americans are as a people. And that, I think, distinguishes Americans from people all over the world. And I think the Rotarians have kind of embodied that belief. Christy Brown, how can I introduce her? The best way to introduce her is she has a big heart. She has a big heart. And as Kevin said, she's done more for Louisville, just convening people in her home than anyone I can think of. But it's really fitting and appropriate that she joins Rotary because she is so community-minded, and her influence and support have reached every aspect of Louisville. I think you all know Christy Brown, but you may not know much about her Envirome Institute. And so I think it'll be really interesting for all of us to hear her philosophy around Envirome Institute and what Envirome Institute actually does. She co-founded the Envirome Institute some years ago, and she's building a new vision of health campus in downtown Louisville, which will be part of the University of Louisville. She has her fingers in many pies. She's co-founder of the Center for Interfaith Relations, celebrating the Louisville's this year will be the 27th anniversary of the Center for Interfaith Relations. She's also a founding board member of the Berry Center, which celebrates the work of Wendell Berry, the great Kentucky's greatest writer. She also currently serves on the boards of the Sustainable Food Trust in England, the Louisville Orchestra, the National Trust for Historic Preservation, which is a very important organization nationally, which does historic. She's been very active in historic preservation here in Louisville, as you all know, but she's been also is very influential. This organization is very influential right across the country. So, and the thing that she makes, she always believes that decisions should be made through the lens of health in all its forms, here in Louisville and Kentucky and the country. So, Christy.
That's such a lovely surprise. I didn't even know that Tom was going to be able to be here. And so I guess, Kevin, maybe you're asking him to introduce me. Change some of his plans. But anyway, it's an honor to be here. First of all, it's a true honor to be now a true Rotarian. I came here in the 60s, and so it's been a long journey to your front door. And I can't tell you how honored I am. Seriously, I mean that. And so I'll talk a little bit about why I'm honored and the kinds of things that we have in common. But thank you so much. And Kevin, I've worked with for years on the Festival of Faith together, and he was one of the pioneers in our city who understood the importance of interreligious understanding, and still does. So don't leave that organization, man, with all your other commitments, please. But anyway, each of you are extraordinary leaders, and so it is a privilege to now be an official member. When my husband and I first met many years ago in Washington, we actually were quickly fascinated with the idea that we had this sort of what was then kind of unusual, and maybe it kind of is still some thing in common, which is that we passionately believed that we were born to serve. And of course, it's really appropriate to be here and to be invited into your club today, because that's your whole mission. And service is a way of life for each of you and each and every day. So I'm really honored to be here. I have to say that this was one of the things that when Todd and I met, we found we had in common as well. And so now with our wonderful new relationship, we actually began each of our days trying to figure out how maybe we can try to be helpful. So I know that that's what, again, as I said, that you all do and are an example of that. I'm really curious. I look around and I can't figure figure out from your wonderful looks as to how long maybe you've been Rotarian. So I'd like to do something a little silly, but I'd like to ask those people who have been a Rotarian for maybe 1 year to please stand. Well, good. Great, and I think, you know what would be fun? Well, that's great, thank you. Well, we're on the newbie club, right? I don't know how long we stay in that.
You can remain standing to your 1 year as well.
Yes, oh, thank you. Now we have 3 to 5 years. Let's see how many have been Rotarians from, say, 3 to 5 years. Oh, wow. Oh, that was a big class. Yay, let's give them a hand. And then I'm curious about the 10-year club. Do we have any 10-year club folks? Oh, did I do 5 to 10? Is that what I did? All right. Well, anyway, no. But anyway, maybe I clumped them together there. But then, how about 20 years and more? I am so proud. I wish I had a camera from this angle because and I'm not surprised, but that's a very large class. And congratulations to all of you. I am really particularly proud that you invited me because I'm very proud of you and the mission that you have chosen. And I think you call it your mission. I know you have many different ways of describing it, but when I first heard from Jean that you were doing that, I was just overwhelmed with pride and joy. Because as you know, we have our dear Ohio here, and I have to say, being a Marylander, when I came inland, more inland than I was accustomed to, I was a little surprised about the lack of water, and so, but the Ohio was very there for me, and I'm privileged, as many of you know, living up above it, so I can enjoy and appreciate it. It's also being able to see it as often as I do think I work harder for it. I hope I do. And if I don't, you speak to me about it and tell me so. But as you may know, it's really a mighty river, and whenever we go to Europe, you know, people will comment on the Ohio. I used to be nearby the Potomac, as they used to say. But anyway, you know, your Ohio, our Ohio, is, I just had to look it up because I didn't know, 981 miles long. It's the 3rd largest river in our country. I think that's a pretty amazing stat. It's the 6th oldest river. Now that's pretty cool. It's a very historic river. It apparently created itself something like 3 million years ago. Now, I can't comprehend that age, but that is really quite something and makes it a very, very important resource in our country. Its age alone would designate it. It should have a great national designation. You know, maybe we could dream up something like that. But it also is, for lots of reasons, those amongst I just mentioned, but others too, it's a sacred resource. Now, as you know, as you are people of great action, you already do know, I'm sure, that the health of our human and our natural world is really dependent upon water. I'm therefore really unbelievably, as I know you are, incredibly enthusiastic about how brilliant the dedication of your local, your national, and your international Rotarians is going to be to find that as their main mission. I don't know how many years you all did polio. Can somebody tell me? Okay. Still doing it, yeah. But how many years? You've been working at it for, I don't know, is it 20 years, 30 years? 1987. Yeah, 1987. It's extraordinary. And so what it shows is that you basically don't just dabble, you stick with things. And I would suggest that our sacred waters need you, and they need you to stick with this. Because, as you say in some of your materials, where there is water, there is life. Now, it's an honor for me to give you a few things or talk a little about our little sort of things that we'd like to share. And one is our circle of harmony and health, and some of you have already put it on, thank you. But I hope that you will enjoy it, as well as this little booklet, and use it for and with your families, for and with your communities, to help you and all of us understand, as our indigenous ancestors did, about the vital importance of healthy air, healthy water, and healthy soil. These gifts are just little gifts from me, but also really from our University of Louisville's new vision of health effort, which we hope will enable each of us ultimately to become much more united as a community, much more deeply in understanding the value of making all of our decisions through the lens of all these different forms of health. I'd love you to study this, the little pin, and you'll see that there are 8 forms of health in the hearts. And then there are the 3 others, of course, which are the air, water, and soil. So we have 11 different forms of what I call essential healths. Now, it was mentioned that in 2018, I started together with the University of Louisville and the City of Louisville what we named the Envirome Institute. And its effort and its purpose is basically to try to multiply the numbers of individuals, to multiply the numbers of dollars, to multiply the numbers of creative new kinds of partnerships, which will allow us all to become agents for healthy change. As you know better than anyone, no one does anything alone. This Envirome Institute did its first major effort. I guess it was about, or is about, something like a $27 million project, I don't know, kind of in that range. It's called the Green Heart Project. And what it really is a model for helping us understand the value of healthy air. It's just one of what must be many in the future to come. Because as you know, if we don't have healthy air, water, and soil, which we do not have, we will not have the length of lives that we know we must have. Now, this Green Heart showed us, which is a model, one of many that we hope will happen, it showed us that millions more dollars can be acquired when you create new kinds of partnerships, expanded partnerships, when you find new kinds of ways to collaborate that haven't maybe been done before, which are really difficult to do. But when you do them, they multiply in just the most extraordinary ways. And the same is true with people, because this Envirome and the Green Heart projects is actually an example of how we need to have each other to show our interconnectedness with each other. This is a 1920s map that I was lucky enough to have found when I was fortunate enough to have gone on an environmental trip with His Holiness Bartholomew, who is one of the great interreligious thinkers of our world. He's the head of the Greek Orthodox Church, Russian Orthodox Church. Anyway, absolutely brilliant man. He had found this map that makes me almost cry every time I look at those rivers and streams, because what does it look like? Like what? And the human, yes, brain, and the human system, exactly. Isn't it fascinating? But it really shows also, as I said before, the interconnectedness of all of life. And this is something that you all understand because you have called your work with your water mission an effort to extend the flow of clean water to everyone. So, with that in mind, here in Louisville, we absolutely must connect the health of our water, our Ohio precious historic river, to each and every one in our community. Now, to that end, your Envirome Institute, thrilled to be your partner, has begun a relationship with the Ohio Riverway, and we are partnering, just newly fresh beginning partnerships, which we've never had before, of course, with the National Wildlife Federation. The Ohio Riverway is leading this effort with the Kentucky Waterways Alliance, and hopefully now with each of you and all of the different Rotaries that you will envision and lure into this effort to care for the Ohio River. And today, on the banks of the Ohio, actually, I think I mentioned, there are 150 river town advocates who are meeting in Madison to begin and to launch their work on this Ohio River effort. This is a very interesting map that shows us that in the last 5 years where the federal funds have gone for various rivers. Now, I'm not going to try to read them all. I'd be happy to send any of you a copy of it. But what it shows you is right in the middle, that yellow little thing. It says Ohio River, zero. Zero. Even the Delaware, River Basin, which Delaware, pretty tiny state, right? Even they received $26 million. I'm not going to do all the rest of them, but that tells you that we have an opportunity, right? It tells you that we must no longer tolerate this, and that we must pledge together that we are going to each insist that our political leaders, our corporate leaders, and all of our civic leaders from now on consider our health of our water to be of essential importance. Our Ohio River extends something like I can say this, it's so big, 200,000 square miles. It stretches and touches 14 states. And I would imagine this is probably a lowball estimate. It touches apparently 25 million people. So we no longer can allow for our beautiful Ohio River to be what it is, which is a dumping ground. It's a sewer pit. Now, I know you say, you'll leave here and you'll say, oh, no, it's not. We have some of the healthiest drinking water in the world. And I will say to you that we are all very lucky that we have such extraordinary water engineers and health agents at the Louisville Water Company, because they have learned how to clean up really grubby water. But you know what? They can't do it alone. And it's not working alone. Many of us are probably quite sick and we don't even know it because of the unhealth of our, lack of health of our water. And how do I say that? Why do I say that? I decided if I was going to stand up here before you and I was going to say that we're each responsible and we need to each take that responsibility very seriously, that I better do something to understand my water. So I have sent my water, and Todd, I don't want you to listen. I have sent my water to be tested. And my test results just came back yesterday. It did take quite a while because it was very professionally done. And I will mention, because I haven't studied the report yet, except one thing jumped out at me that I could not include into my chat today. And that is that I have in my water an exceptionally inappropriate amount of PFAS. Do you know what PFAS is? What is it?
Forever chemicals.
Yeah, plastics. Exactly right. And I also learned from my report, again, I haven't studied it yet, be happy to share this with anybody after I've studied it, but I learned that the EPA has no regs on evaluating PFAS. And so what does that mean? That means that the local water company does not evaluate the content of PFAS in our water. Now, I would suggest that there are probably other not so good things that maybe are not required by EPA to be tested. Therefore, our wonderful water company is not, with all its hands responsibilities, not yet testing. But when we learn these things, what should we do with them? I promise you, I am going to take my information, I'm going to share it with every elected official that I know, and I will share it with the heads of the water company and any board directors. I don't know the people that I know there now. I used to know all, but I don't know who I know now. But I will share this information, and I hope you'll do the same. Basically, it's each of us becoming agents of healthy change, and each of us deciding that we're going to begin every day in partnership with whomever we can put our whole hands with, so that we actually end up getting every local, state, and federal kind of support and funding and partnership that we need. So let's see, I have lived, this is good, I'll hurry along here. But you can tell I'm sad, but I'm enthusiastic, and I hope you will be too. And empowered. That's really what we need to each be, is empowered. This does remind me, though, of a tragic fact that let's see, when was it? In 2009, Kevin, you'll remember that we had our Sacred Water Festival of Faiths. And it was there that we created this Sacred Water Faith in Action Toolkit, which I don't think many houses of worship actually took advantage of. But if you have a house of worship who would like to take advantage of it, we can make it available for you. It contained Flow, for the Love of Water, which is a fabulously interesting film that we all should watch. And then this booklet about factoids about our water in our region. And one of the things that it said from a professor at our fine University of Louisville, who we empowered to help us with that, it said, if Jesus were baptized at the same spot at the Jordan River today, he would either be wading in sewage or standing on a dry bed. We can't have that happen to our Ohio. Wendell Berry said, to abuse the land is to abuse the people. Now, we have polluted the water cycle, and we are therefore abusing our people. So we each need to be asking ourselves the right kinds of questions. And I think that it's very exciting to know and to remember that we are each 70% water. I'm sure you all must know that, but it's a staggeringly interesting factoid. And then one of the other factoids that's in our Festival of Faith booklet is that our rivers and our streams in Kentucky, getting outside of our Louisville, basically are not swimmable for pregnant women. Now, that, I haven't been pregnant for a very long time, but that still just hits me in the heart to think that that's the case, particularly since we are second to Alaska on the amount of water that we have, the amount of streams, and what a beautiful, beautiful tribute, natural tribute that is to our wonderful state. Thank you for this. Thank you for you. I just got my first copy of your Rotary magazine. It's extraordinary. It's evidence of your incredible wisdom It covers every issue that I could ever cover, and I hope it'll be legally permissible for us to promote this in my little newsletter at every turn I can, because it's filled with pearls. And your founder, Paul Harris, was accurate, I think, when he said, if you have the love of your fellow men in your hearts, my friends, you are the potential Rotarian. So I would like to say that your magazine shows that you really do have the love of all in your hearts. And so I'm excited for you for all of us to figure out together new kinds of ways to care for our city, to care for our Ohio, our Ohio River belongs to all of us, and to basically adopt our new vision of health as ours, and your water mission as ours. Thank you so much for who you are. Thank you for your leadership and your inspiration, and it's an honor to be a brand new Rotarian. I will wear this with tremendous pride. Thank you, Kelly. If I can, I know you all can, because I'm looking at a brilliant group of people. Is there anybody that has any questions? Yes?
Is there a Ohio River Basin Coalition?
Regina, you could actually help expound on this, but, or Kentucky, Mike, yeah. Michael, where are you, still here? Yes, here he is. Good question, thank you.
Convenient technology, hello everyone. Michael Washington, Kentucky Waterways Alliance. Yes, there's a nascent coalition that is forming that's being led by the National Wildlife Federation, the Ohio River Basin Alliance, and the local leadership of the Kentucky Waterways Alliance and the Ohio Riverway. Our first convening of the Advocacy Coalition is going to be on November 8th and 9th here in Louisville. So you'll be reading more about that soon.
Okay, well, this is just to expand upon what you said. It's not really a question, although you probably would like to expand on it. These forever chemicals cause cancer. Every one of us has forever chemicals in our bodies, and they never go away. They don't disintegrate. They don't do anything. They just sit there. And there are two wonderful books that there's a lawyer in Cincinnati, worked a lot, took this case up. He worked for a law firm that worked for big corporations, but he had a distant relative who was suffering from all of his cattle dying in Ohio, near Portsmouth, Ohio. And there's a big DuPont plant there. And he couldn't figure out why his animals were dying, and nobody would help him. And so Robert went down there, he got into it. He wound up in a 10-year-long legal case against DuPont, which he won big time, because all the workers and the people in that area, the people that lived in that area, had cancer. Their teeth either turned black or they had some form of cancer. So it's really important that the water company publish these figures. They have them, but they're not on their website. You have to ask for them. So if they publish them and people know about it, then the public will begin to put pressure on the EPA. The EPA has said there is a certain limit, in the body for it. But these chemicals were invented after the EPA came into existence, and so they didn't have them in the regulations until all this came out. So a lot of people died, a lot of people suffered from it. It's really an important cause, and I hope that it will be taken up by other organizations when they meet and talk about it. We had a showing, a movie about this down at the Speed about 2 or 3 months ago. Tina Halbeck, I don't know if you know her, but she's really been on this. So we've been interested in it ourselves. Yeah. Thank you.
Are there some more questions?
Just a
Anyone else have a
comment.
question, please come back to the podium.
Just a comment. Christy has some big ideas today. She's always got big ideas, and the thing is, a lot of them become reality, not necessarily exactly, as you want it to be, but makes big progress based on these ideas like, you're kidding, they're not retired.
David?
Yes.
Are you going to share?
I am.
Goody. Okay, thank you.
David Graves. As we assembled this morning, I told Christy a story she wanted me to share with you. In July, my youngest son started a boat trip in Lake Champlain, rowing and sailing all the way to Louisville. This morning, he texted me that he just crossed the Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia on the Ohio River. He wanted this trip to be fossil fuel free. So after he crossed the Erie Canal and came down Lake Erie to Westfield, New York, he hired an Amish farmer to bring his wagon, horse-drawn wagon over and portage his boat that he built himself up over the mountain into Lake Chautauqua so he could continue his journey on to the Ohio River.
Michael, can you come to the stage for a second? I mentioned earlier about how Christy gets people involved and convenes a meeting, as Todd said, and gets them together. And I was talking to her about what we do with Rotary, and she says it's okay if a few of the people come. Well, it turned out that there's some great things about the Ohio River, and we had a Ohio River project, a few years ago, which basically was stalled because of COVID, and basically it reenacted because of what we brought us together. I actually want to present to Kentucky Waterways Alliance, which is one of the scientists this morning. So, $5,000 check for this. I just need to warn you though, Michael, you need to go into the bank because it won't work at the drive-thru.
Thank you so much, Rotary and Kevin. I don't like speaking after Christy ever. I'll just say a few words more about the advocacy coalition that is forming, that this money will go towards supporting. That big donut graph that Christy showed with the big zero in the middle, what we're working with our national and regional sponsors to come up with a restoration plan for the entire Ohio River Basin, which would be modeled on what has happened to the Great Lakes or to the Chesapeake. So we've got sort of three parts to the plan. There's a sort of a technical work group that's working on issues of PFAS and nitrogen and phosphorus and workforce development. There's a second part of the plan which is specifically focused on indigenous communities which have been displaced from the Ohio River Basin but still entirely essential to their culture. And there's a third component, which is what KWA is playing a large role in, which is the community engagement portion of it, which is when we deliver the restoration plan to the Biden administration and Congress next year, that we have broad community and elected official support to get momentum behind us. And so this money will be applied to the Advocacy Coalition work, which is being led by the National Wildlife Federation. KWA is the state affiliate of the NWF, so we're really tied with them. So yeah, thank you so much. If there's any other questions about any of this, I'll answer anything if you all want to talk about afterwards.
One more assignment for Christy. My wife and I are having we call it a Rotary wine swap every year, of course, when we met. And this is actually a scholarship to attend that with 2 free bottles of wine. The winning number is 4 digits, 9675. Nobody likes to drink wine? We'll try another one. Good. And it's 9711. Terry.
I just want to say one little little PS if I could. When I look around this room, what I see is just the most extraordinary collection of human opportunities. And I said at lunch today, and last night we were talking about an event that Stephen was hosting, that the not-for-profits, which you all represent in many, many different ways, you really are the heart and the soul of this community. You really, as far as I'm concerned, should be running this community. You should not be having to have your tin cups out begging for dollars, which I know we all have to do at every not-for-profit, and it's ass backwards. You should not be having to do that, but you do it, and you do it beautifully. But remember that you are the bipartisan voice of this community. You're the heart and the soul of this community. You have nothing, you have no partisanship in your work. Therefore, you have a voice that needs to be, what's the word, you know? Lifted up, bigger, bigger, bigger. And you need to demand that you be heard. Because you know what the right decisions, healthy decisions are for this unhealthy place. And we need to demand that this become a healthy place, which I know it can with all of us working together. So, thank you.
Thanks so much, Christy. It's great to hear from your heart, as Todd mentioned. That's great. Next week, Dr. Kim Chancellor, President of UL, will be here to speak. And also, the guests who are here, if you want to talk to Craig Sherman at the table in the corner there, he can give a little bit more update on what we do each week. So, thanks for all coming. It was a great meeting.